Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer Podcast. I am your host, Andrew. Joining me tonight, we've got Jason and Joe back. It's time for our first divisional preview of the off season. Since it seems like free agency's finally more or less done what it's going to do outside some pitchers. And thanks to Scott Boras, that's not going to get done until March. So why wait? Let's get things moving. Guys, it's good to be back. How you doing tonight?
Hanging in there.
At least it's not cold.
Yeah, absolutely. So glad to be back. Baseball's back. Great time. Means warmer weather's on the way.
Yeah. And Joe, he'll be heading off towards the Arizona Cactus League before too much longer. So we'll get some live on the ground impressions from Joe, especially as he follows the Cubs among others around. So Joe, I'm really excited for you on this trip. I hope you have a great time, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm psyched. It'll be fun.
I can't wait. All right, so Jason, what are you drinking tonight?
So since I'm over my cold, I'm like, all right, cool. I can go back to some alcohol. So I'm going with a good summer baseball drink, and I'm going with a Jimmy Juice. I'm going with the pineapple tonight. I also enjoy if you can get the orange with the pineapple, just mix it together, have an orange pineapple Jimmy Juice. Delicious.
Dude, that sounds like a cruise ship drink. I got to try that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got tonight, Joe?
I'm drinking some whiskey from Stolen Wolf tonight, an early birthday present, so I'm enjoying that a little bit tonight. And, I think Jimmy Juice has a new flavor coming out soon, Jason, if I'm not mistaken, for like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know what it is, though.
Yeah.
That's exciting. All right. For me, I'm going with one of my old standards, good old Arnold Palmer spiked lemonade and tea. Always a fan of it. Yeah. And it's not carbonated, too. I love drinking beer during the show, but some of the really carbonated beers, I have to slam the mute button way too often so the inevitable belching doesn't blast through the microphone over you guys. So non-carb's a good way to go. All right, let's start. We're going to start in the American League because, being a primarily National League podcast, we're going to get the division we don't know as well out of the way first. So we'll start it off with the Angels. Last year, 72-90, still last in the West, but not as bad as we were guessing they were going to be. Joe, you were the closest last year. You had them at 69 nice wins, so good job there. You were only off by 3. That's really good. Nice improvement from the Angels. They went from going down 10 wins between 23 and 24 to going back up 9 wins. So they're not there yet, but they're definitely making improvements. Moderately active this offseason. They grabbed Grayson Rodriguez from the Orioles for Tyler Ward. They got Vaughn Grissom from the Red Sox for outfielder Isaiah Jackson. Boy, Vaughn Grissom, man. Atlanta definitely did the right thing when they dumped Vaughn Grissom off of Chris Sale, because now that Grissom's being tossed to a third team, I'm really liking that deal more and more. Little active in free agency. They got Alek Manoah on a 1-year prove-it deal. They picked up left-hander Drew Pomeranz on a 1-year deal, Jordan Romano on a 1-year deal, and they re-signed Yoan Moncada, 1 year, $4 million. Anthony Rendon, who, let's face it, that's got to be one of the worst contracts in the history of baseball. I still think Chris Davis is worse than Anthony Rendon, but the Orioles can also at least claim an MVP year that they got out of Chris Davis, or MVP-like, before everything went to hell, whereas I don't even think the Angels really got much of anything out of the Rendon deal. That was absolutely awful. So it looks like overall with the Angels, a heavy focus on pitching, both rotation and the bullpen, which they absolutely needed. That was the Achilles heel last year. Moncada, not even slightly surprised that they made sure he was coming back now that Rendon is officially gone. My big question, Jason, I'll start with you, I guess. Are they going to regret giving up a big chunk of offense to send Ward to the O's? I know they needed pitching. Rodriguez is a good pitcher when he's healthy, but his injury history is not great. What do you think of the deal?
I think it's absolutely great for the Orioles. Maybe the change will help Grayson, but I think the injury history is definitely cause for concern. Looking at this, the Angels, to me, they're trying, but they're not at the same time. Like there's still just going to be too many holes. You have an aging Mike Trout. You have, there's just a lot to be desired still for this Angels team. They are the lesser of the Los Angeles teams by a long shot, for sure.
Let's be real. Even before the Dodgers decided to turn into the George Steinbrenner spending style of the Yankees, have they ever been the greater of the Los Angeles teams other than the World Series years?
I guess not. I mean, yeah.
I can't really. I always thought it was dumb that they changed their name to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim instead of just staying the Anaheim Angels, because let's be real. When you think of Los Angeles, you're never going to think of the Angels first. You're always going to think of the Dodgers first. But
I mean, that and the fact that it translates to the Angels of Anaheim, which is just dumb. But
yeah, that's yes. So true.
I mean, I love me some Angels, but the duplication there is not really doing much for them.
Well, and then
the Angels,
and at least they weren't the Angels when it was Angels in the outfield, because that would have just been so freaking unnecessarily. The Angels in the outfield. I mean, good God, would have ruined what was otherwise a really good baseball movie. Not an all-time great, but it's one I've always loved. Angels in the outfield. It's not baseball has too many good movies. I know we talked about this a few years ago. Maybe it's time to bring that back up again, but baseball has too many good movies. Anyway, Joe, so what are your thoughts? The Angels, how do you think it's looking? How do you think it's going?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Jason with regards to the Ward trade. I feel like you're hoping, because of just what the kind of guy he is, you're hoping that Rodriguez can rebound with a different environment and a different training staff, pitching staff, that kind of thing. But it definitely feels like the O's got the better of that deal. Your normal question is, what's their biggest need? And the answer is yes, because they have 1,000 of them.
Yeah. Farm system. Consistently one of the bottom 10 farm systems. I
can't understand that. They kind of make some of these other teams like we often rag on the Pirates and some other teams, like they make them look like the Dodgers in terms of spending. They just don't really seem to do what they need to do. And I don't know. It just seems to me like there's so much left to be desired that there's really no market improvement.
Yeah.
Barring Rodriguez being 100% healthy all of a sudden out of nowhere and having a Cy Young level season, there's really no improvement here.
Hey, it could happen. Is it likely to happen? I personally don't think so either. I'd be shocked. But hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. And I think that the thing with the Angels is it seems like they've had misses with their draft. We talk about that comparison with the Angels and the Pirates, and the Pirates have at least drafted well to the point that their young guys are coming up. They are having an impact. The Angels are just missing with free agents. They're missing with their draft picks, and that does not bode well for the organization. If you're missing in all aspects of your game, you went up in wins last year, but they did not get better this offseason.
Let's be real too, though, Jason. The Pirates also picked the best time to tank, because Paul Skeens is as close as you're going to come to a can't miss prospect. And I hate to say can't miss, because baseball is littered with past can't miss prospects that have gotten hurt or derailed or yips or whatever. But Paul Skeens, there was no chance that one was going to fail for the Pirates. All right, so it's prediction time. So the Angels last year, they were at 72 wins, fifth place. I'm going to say, I'm going to drop them, but just slightly. I'm going to say 70 wins. I'm still going to, they're going to pass the Athletics. No, they're not going to pass it. I'm going to say 70 and fifth place. All right. Joe, how about you go first this time?
You know what? I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go lower than I was last year, and I'm gonna go to 67, where Jason was last year.
Okay.
I think the other teams in the division are significantly better, or at least marginally better. So they're going to lose a few more games, and 67 and fifth in the division.
And Jason.
Yeah. They're definitely going to be fifth in the division. I think the Athletics are doing pretty well as far as their young guys. They signed their young guys to longer, bigger contracts. Angels, fifth place, 72 wins last year. I'm going to take them. I think they're going to be pretty close to last year. I do think the rest of the division has gotten better, but there are less divisional games now due to all the interleague stuff. So I'm going to say I'm going to drop them one win. I'll take them at 71 wins.
Yeah. I feel like this one we're going to probably end up being pretty close next year. You know, sometimes when I'm looking up last year to this year and I'm finding who was closest, it's more like who was closest. But I think we're all going to be pretty close on this one when we check back next year. All right, fourth place in the West last year was the Athletics. And you know what? Screw you guys. It's the Sacramento Athletics. Fix it up so we can reset the natural order of alphabetizing so I don't have to go down as far to find Atlanta when I'm looking things up in MLB. All right, so the Athletics, 76 and 86, fourth last year. They have, you know what? You have to give them this. Since they cratered down, they have been steadily improving. 23 to 24, they went up plus 19. 24 to 25, they went up plus 7. Looking at predictions from last year, Joe, you nailed it spot on at 76. Although you did say third place, but we won't talk about that. You nailed the win total. Congratulations. That's awesome. First applause of the night goes to Joe. So Oakland, not really super active trading. They grabbed Andy Ibanez off the waivers for infield depth. They grabbed Scott Barlow for the pen, 1 year, $2 million. This was the big deal that they absolutely had to do this offseason. They had to re-sign Tyler Soderstrom, 7 years, $86 million. Absolutely earned the largest guaranteed contract in franchise history. They lost outfielder JJ Bleday. I don't think they care. Big thing for Oakland, Sacramento. They needed to keep locking up the young core, improving the bullpen depth. I said it last year that I wasn't going to be surprised if Oakland turned out to be friskier than expected, and oh boy, were they friskier than expected. Jason, you were actually really close in your prediction last year at 74 wins, by the way. Jason, what are you thinking of the A's? This is definitely this is not our usual or has been what we would consider a beat-down team almost every other year of the podcast. This is definitely an improved young team.
Yeah. They're definitely an improved team. I think locking up their young core was the Athletics here. Their bullpen is still solid. You have, Mason at the back end. I think the pitching has potential to be their downfall. Playing in a minor league park doesn't help either. And a little bit more starting pitching. But they are definitely, I think, going to be around the same or even a little better than last year.
And the big thing is they're not going to be able to. I know they got Severino last year, which turned out to be honestly kind of a disaster signing since he can't pitch at home at all. His home away splits were astronomically horrible, historically horrible last year. Once they move to Las Vegas, if they ever finish building a stadium out there, they have broken ground, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so ground's been broken. I think that last I heard they were still on schedule to move. Once they have a real stadium, they'll probably have a better luck in getting good pitchers to want to. I think what happened to Severino last year is going to scare a lot of pitchers away until they move. And I can't say I blame them. Why would you want to pitch in a minor league stadium if you don't have to? But boy, that offense, I think even when they move into a stadium with actual major league dimensions, they're still going to rake. Big Amish is a beautiful thing to watch with the bat. What do you think, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I still think they're. I got it pretty. What did I say? 76 last year.
You said 76.
76.
You know what? I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say 80.
Woo! I like it. Are they going to do third?
I don't know if I'm willing to say that just yet.
Okay, that's fair.
But I do think they did add McNeil via trade in the infield, Jeff McNeil, so that'll help a lot because he can play pretty much everywhere. And his offense will hopefully improve now that he's out of the pressure cooker that is Queens. Maybe there will be some improvement there. I mean, he's 2 years removed from a batting title, or 3 years removed from a batting title. So you expect him to be able to contribute with that core that they do have, provide some leadership there. So I'm going to say 80 at a minimum.
Okay. I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go 79. I'm not quite ready to say that this is a team ready to break the 80-win threshold just because of the pitching problems and playing so many games in a minor league field. But I think they're close, and I think next year, after the move, I think I'm going to be ready to say they could possibly be a team that we're going to talk about for third, maybe even second wild card, depending on the rest of the league. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah. I think they're going to still be fourth place this year. I'm going to give them a couple extra wins. I'm going to give them 78 wins.
Huh. That's probably the closest we've ever all been. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're on the verge. They just need a little bit more yet.
It's like for me, this team reminds me of like 16, 17 Atlanta when the young guys were starting to come up. For you, Jason, probably like 19, 20 with the Phillies as that young core was getting ready. They were starting to make the deals. You could feel it when the team was almost playoff ready, and you wouldn't be surprised if they got lucky and made the jump. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this Athletics team. Like they're on the verge of being ready, but they're still a couple years away from being a serious playoff team. I feel bad for the Oakland fans, though. They got screwed in all of this.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got the Texas Rangers. Last year went an even 81-81, third place in the West. I was the closest last year at 83. Not bad. I'll take that, +2. Jason, they did not go to the 91 in the title you were predicting, and Joe, they didn't do as bad as the 75th fourth place fallout as you were predicting. So they did, 23-24, a big drop in wins, down 12. They did go back up a little bit to 3. Probably honestly, the biggest move that they made was not a player move, although Nimmo for Semien is a big move. And so was Gore. But getting Skip Schumacher, Skip was one of my favorite choices of all of the managers that were available last year. I think that was a great hire by the Rangers. I think Skip's going to do good things with that team. Nemo for Semyon, I think, was absolutely an upgrade for the Rangers. His defense was still good. Don't get me wrong. His bat has really fallen off the last couple of years, and so, along with his health. Mackenzie Gore, I'm really curious to see how that's going to go because Mackenzie Gore has never been able to put a full season together. Now he is still young, so it could also just be he needed more time, more experience. Maybe this year, next year will be the year that happens. We'll see. Danny Jansen, I really like that signing as well. Good catching depth. Alexis Diaz will be a nice bullpen piece for them. I like the defensive improvements. I like what's going on down in Texas. And you know what? They're the Texas team I like better of the two right now. And I'll talk about that more in a sec when we get to the Astros. But I think the Rangers are definitely a team on the up and up. Joe, what do you think?
Based on how I feel are going further down this division, I'm going to go bold again, and I'm going to say 90.
90?
I'm going to take this division.
90 and the division.
Yep.
Man, this is a good one tonight.
So part of the feeling for me is that, and we'll get to this with these other teams that the concerns I have with the other teams in the division in a little bit, but I just feel like Gore is a huge get for them. Nimmo is a huge get for them in the outfield. I just feel like they're significantly improved overall. They did get Jordan Montgomery late in free agency too, to add some depth in the rotation. Chris Martin is an amazing reliever. They have Alexis Diaz in the bullpen
Chris
still.
Martin is an ageless wonder.
Yeah.
He's just getting better as he gets older.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you're not 100% sure about with them is second base, but I think they'll figure it out. That's the only thing that really has any concern for me, but I'm going to say 90 and they take the division.
I like it. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah. And I think the reason that I had that 91 last year, they did start out pretty strong, and then injuries kind of derailed their season a bit. So they definitely are going to be better than last year this year. After being burned by them last year, I don't think I vision. But I am going to. I think they're going to be just short of, and I think they're going to end up being second in the division.
Okay, so just short, second place. What was the win total again? We might have lost Jason, so until he chimes back up. Okay, 88 in second. Yeah, well, it seems like Jason's having some internet issues, so he's going to hop off, try and get that restarted. He'll hop back on as soon as he can. So 88 in second. The crazy good thing, Joe, is that as the injuries were hitting them, it wasn't Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom survived the season, which was wonderful to see. Baseball is better when he is healthy and he is pitching. He's still, as much as it pains me to say it, he's still one of my favorite away pitchers to watch play because he is a damn good pitcher.
Yeah, I just feel like they finally got a full season of him, and it's the first time that we have gotten a full season of him in a long time. So, you're a little cautious whether they're going to get that again this year. I hope they do. But Schumacher and the upgrades they made, absolutely. I just feel really bullish on this team.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going to go... Do I do it? I don't. That they're not going to be my pick for number one, but I'm gonna give one extra. I'm gonna go one ahead of you, Joe, but I'm gonna say second place. I'm gonna go 91, but second place in the division for the Rangers. All right, welcome back, Jason. All righty, so let's
see how long it lasts.
It should be good. Positive thinking, man. Positive thinking. All right, so let's move it on to the team another one of the teams that everybody absolutely loves to hate, the Astros. So let's see here. Last year, the Astros went 87-75, second in the West. They missed out on the playoffs last year. Oh no, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. I know, we were all heartbroken that the Astros didn't make it. All right, Jason, you were closest though last year, 84 in third place. So good job there. The Astros, 23-24, they dropped 2 wins. 24-25, they dropped 1 win. So this is the bar graph for the Astros since we started. 21-22, they jumped 11. 22-23, they plummeted 16. They lost 2 from 23-24 and 1 more. If it keeps going down, I'm not going to be too upset. I really don't like the Astros. Biggest signing they had, Christian Walker, 3 years, $60 million. They lost Framber Valdez to the Tigers. They lost Verlander to the Tigers, and what feels like it's going to be, a retirement farewell tour for Verlander, who should eventually get, he should eventually hit the Hall of Fame. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Power definitely improved with Walker, but I think it's safe to say the Astros dynasty from the mid 2010s till now is gone. So, the starting rotation is at best questionable when McCullers, who's coming off the injury, is going to be your ace. Is it Walker's a little bit of an odd choice though if you're doing a full rebuild? So are they doing a full rebuild? Or are they doing that competitive rebuild kind of thing? You see where teams just don't want to give up, but probably should give up. Joe, what's your vibe? What are you sussing out with it?
Yeah, I just don't buy this team. Not that Verlander was a main contributor last year, but that's still a drop off for them. Losing Framber is a big deal. Losing him is a big deal for them. I feel like. The catcher's probably happy he's gone, but besides that, I don't know that the team is better without him. I tend to agree with you, Andrew. It just feels like the quote unquote dynasty, if you will, is pretty much on the way down, if not over. So I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go 80, just like I did with the A's, and the A's are gonna win a tiebreaker with the Astros and take third.
80th and third.
Nice.
Now the Astros will be fourth, 80th and fourth.
80th and fourth. Okay, thank you.
80 and fourth.
Thank you for the clarification there, Jason. What are you thinking, bud?
I love that the Astros have dropped off, and I think they're going to continue doing so because, they got Christian Walker, but there are a lot other holes in that team, especially in the rotation now. So I think they are going to see a drop off. I'm going to keep my prediction from last year because I think it is realistic this year. I'm going to take 84 wins and third, just because there's going to be a little bit more competition within the division. I think the Mariners are going to be good. We're looking at the Rangers being better. So I think we're just going to see that drop off from the Astros continue. So Houston, we have a problem, and that problem is 84 wins and third place.
Love it. I really want to be the guy that's going to say they're not going to crack 80. I just don't trust the Athletics pitching staff enough to say that that's going to happen. So I'm going to go. I'm going to agree with you, Joe. 80 in fourth place. And I think next year, I will not be surprised if they don't do big things, especially with their pitching. I'm not going to be surprised if we're talking about the Astros in the low 70s or even possibly screaming towards the upper to mid 60s, because there's nothing left on this Astros team. They really would be better off just selling everything off and just accelerating the rebuild. Hell of a run, but the run's over. And I know we're all heartbroken about the trash can smashing Astros to be done with this run. Yeah, I'm not. Too many World Series they shouldn't have won in that time span. All right, and then last year's champions of the division, the Seattle Mariners, had to break out the Ichiro jersey. Mom, Dad, and Alex got me when they went out west. Oh, God, how long ago was that now? 7, 8 years ago? No, it was before the kids were born. Jesus, it was a decade and a half ago. Wow. Okay, I feel old. All right, so last year, 90 and 72, they won the division. They were eliminated by Toronto in the ALCS 4-3. Poor Dave. I felt so bad for him. He had his Gary Carter moment, as Jason put it, during the postseason last year. Hell of a run for the Mariners, though, and honestly, a lot to like about what's coming up. We split the prediction. Jason, you were 2 under, and I was 2 over. I'm going to say I had the tiebreaker because I said first place. You said second. So if we need a tiebreaker.
I'm going to say Price is Right rules means that you lose.
Yeah, but we don't play Price is Right rules. You know that. All right. So, but anyway, great predictions last year. Dave said 86, by the way, and World Series. So, Dave, I'm really sorry the second part of that did not come true. And Joe, 87 was yours. They've been on the rise from 24 to 25 plus 5 wins, and they were, as usual, Jerry Dipoto was active. They grabbed Brendan Donovan from St. Louis as a part of a 3-team trade. They really didn't give up much to get Brendan Donovan. Durandos, I'm not even going to try to name these minor league prospects because that's just not going to go well. They also got Jose Ferrer from the Nationals. They grabbed Garver. They got Rob, Ref Snyder, Andrew Nizer, Luke Jackson, Trenton Thornton. They re-signed Naylor. 5 years, 92.5. Honestly, that was massive. I love the deal. I think the money is actually pretty much spot on for Naylor. They lost Polanco, who went to the Mets. They lost Santos, who went to the Giants. Honestly, they've got the pedal down. They know they are in their window, and I like what they're doing. I think the Mariners are going to get to 94 this year, and I think they're going to hold on to the division. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I really like this Mariners team. They had a really good offseason. Getting some of those guys in is going to be big. I do think losing Polanco hurts a little bit, but I think they still have the pitching depth. They have the offense and the defense to maintain their AL West crown. So I think they're going to win the AL West with 92 wins.
92. Okay. Hey, did Dave give you anything, Jason?
No, I didn't get a chance to reach out to him about it.
Okay. Yeah, if you reach out, you could tell us on the next episode, and I'll throw his predictions on here because I'm always curious to see where he lines up with us. Joe, what do you think?
I'm going to say 85, and there are 2 reasons I don't like this team. Okay. One of them is I don't see Cal Raleigh having a second year like he did last year. And I do think losing Suarez is a big loss for them too offensively. And they had a ton of pitching health issues last year with between Kirby and some of those guys. So I'm going to go 80. What did I say? 84 or 85?
85.
Yeah, I'll go 85, and they'll take second in the division.
Okay. Still think they're going to need wild card though.
Probably. It's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say wild cards. Talk to me after we're done with the East.
That's always fair. That is always fair to hedge on the wild card bet until we get through the divisions. They are always going to be brutal dogfights, both the American League and National League East. That's going to be a fun episode in a couple weeks.
All I'll predict is 85 in second. That's all I'll predict at this point.
That's very fair. Yeah, that's very fair. All righty. All right, so that's it for the AL West. Let's move into the National League, where we actually, have a better clue of the things going on. We will start with the absolutely hideously awful Rockies, who were so bad and were so bad for so many straight years that they could not be eligible for a top 10 pick in the draft. Oh no. Boo-hoo. Get over it. They went 43 and 119 last year. Good for dead last. I was the closest, and I wasn't close at 56. None of us predicted they were going to bottom out as badly as they did. They dropped 18 wins between 24 to 25. It's crazy because I remember talking about the Rockies last year, and we were like, they're going to be awful, and this is not going to be a fun team to watch. And even in our wildest dreams, we did not think they were going to try to chase the White Sox record down for as long as they did before they remembered how to win some games in the final third of the season. They added Alan Leichman as pitching coach because, good God, the pitching couldn't have been any worse than it was last year. I think their staff ERA was over 5.5. They grabbed infielder Eduardo Julian and Pearson Ole from the Twins for Jace Kaminska and cash. They got TJ Rumfeld from the Yankees for Angel Chivilli. They grabbed John Brebbia, Parker Mashinsky, Adam Lasky, Hughes Milb, and Garrett Atkins. So a lot of pitching. They lost Yanquel Fernandez, who was DFA'd. Really, who cares? This team's still going to get destroyed. They did make a heavy investment in pitching depth and development, which was badly needed. They, again, have one of the worst farm systems outside of Jackson Holiday in the entire Major League spectrum. This is a long-term rebuild that's going to be ongoing for a decade probably, and there is no end in sight, and there's going to be no end in sight for quite some time, I think. I'm going to, where were that, 43 last year? I'm not going to go 39. I'm going to go 40. 40 and dead ass last with the in a division with the Dodgers just continuing to try and destroy baseball. There's no room for improvement in this division for the Rockies. They're screwed. What do you think, Jason?
So my first thoughts are, I look at these transactions and my response is to seeing all these players is who?
Basically.
And it's not a good thing if your biggest free agent loss is somebody that you DFA'd and they got picked up. So this team was historically bad last year, and I keep going back and forth. I'm like, do they maintain their historical terribleness, or is there's no way they can be 43 or less again, right? So I go back and forth. So you know what? Just because I'm feeling generous tonight, I'll give the Rockies like 48 wins and dead last in all of baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt that they're the worst team in baseball. They're worse than the White Sox at this point, and it's not even close. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I'm just going to say 38. Why not?
Honestly, it wouldn't even shock me. It wouldn't even shock me.
The fact that like they lost the only decent pitcher they had in Marquez. He's gone, and because I made this joke below my name there, I'm gonna tell you this stat because this is hilarious. In some ways, KB is on the 60-day IL to start the season. He didn't play after April 12th of last year, and has only played in 170 games since signing with the Rockies in 2022.
Ooh, give me a second. I need to check something. How many games? You said 170?
170 games since signing his 7-year contract in 2022.
Jesus. Well, Anthony, you know what? Anthony Rendon's got him beat. He appeared in 257 games as an Angel.
Yeah. So, like, there's just,
God.
yeah. Number one, they're just awful, and it's an embarrassment. They should be embarrassed, and it's annoying that they aren't.
People
Like,
keep showing up. It's a gorgeous ballpark, and there's nothing else to do in Denver in the summer.
But we're going to see the Rockies not have as many wins in a 162 game season as NBA teams have in half the games.
Yep. Yes, we are.
Like, there's a reason that I changed my blurb down here. You know, I hope that they like ice cream in Colorado because it is a very, very rocky road ahead for them. Like, it is just going to be absolutely abysmal.
It's yeah. Honestly, I don't even know if they've hit rocky bottom, excuse me. This is a team that we could see them over the next couple of years. I mean, unless Jackson Holiday flies to the majors and single-handedly saves the franchise like his dad did, we could see them break the White Sox freaking record over the next year or two or even three. Like, this team is a disgrace to baseball.
Did I miss something? Did you say Jackson Holiday?
You said it twice. It's Ethan Holiday.
Yeah, I meant Ethan. Thank you. I meant Ethan. I think I said Jackson twice. My bad.
You did.
I'm pretty sure Jackson is still one
fans.
of the young Orioles guys. Like,
yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah. No, you're right. But yeah, regardless, it's this.
Rockies wish they had Jackson Holiday.
The Rockies would probably trade their entire roster for Jackson Holiday. Not that the Orioles would accept because there's literally nothing of value. But, you know, thoughts and prayers, maybe. That's probably about the best the Rockies have to offer. So, yeah, anyway. So let's talk about a team that hopefully won't suck. The Arizona Diamondbacks were fourth last year at 80-82. Wow, we bombed this one. Now, the Diamondbacks were absolutely annihilated and obliterated by injuries and poor performance last year. That's why the closest in the predictions were me and Jason at 92. We only missed that by a mile and a half, and we all thought they were going to be wild card teams. So, yeah, they went -9 between 24 and 25 in the win. So, major trades, they basically bought Nolan Arenado for pennies on the dollar as well. But, you know, Arenado is still going to play great defense, but the best years of his bat are behind him. They grabbed Carlos Santana because Santana's still playing, and honestly, good for him. Great veteran presence to have and great trade bait at the deadline when you're sucking. Soroka, 1 year, $7.5 million plus incentives because, God, I still love that guy, but oh man, injuries absolutely killed his career. Merrill Kelly got re-signed to a multi-year deal. Of course, they lost Eugenio Suarez. Their defense has improved. Yes, I'll give them that. I guess we can say they're staying in win now mode because they're not selling everything off. They're still bringing things in. Yeah, thanks, Joe. I did miss that in the sheet, didn't I? Yeah, forget about the Suarez. Anyway, this is just though. This Diamondbacks team, did they really slam their window shut so quickly? Because it seemed like they were a young team ready to at least test the Dodgers a little bit. I don't feel like this is a roster that's going to test the Dodgers very much. Joe, what do you think? You're muted, buddy.
Oh, no. I know. I know. I don't know, man. To me, is Arenado an upgrade? Probably at third, sure, but not necessarily offensively. Um, what's Carroll going to be like once he actually comes back from the hamate surgery? If he's back on opening day, how quickly does he actually have the power and the punch back that we're used to seeing out of him? Yeah, outside of the fact that they have Kelly and Gallen back, there's not a ton to really be excited about here.
Yeah.
I do think that's enough to keep them where they are, though. So I'm going to keep them at the 80 from last year. They're not going to really go up or down one way or the other.
Yeah, there's not a lot to love here. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I believe it was Merrill Kelly had a rough year last year. So
yeah,
losing Suarez is big. It depends on, can Merrill Kelly get back to his form from before, when he gave them a bit more wins. Nolan Arenado, I think defensively will be okay, but that is not an offensive ballpark for him to be successful in. So I think we're going to see maybe a slight increase because the injuries had such a big impact last year. I will give them just above 500 at 82 wins. But looking at the rest of this division, I do think they stay in. I'm torn between fourth and third. You know, looking at what the Giants have done, I'm gonna say the Diamondbacks stay in fourth place.
I'm gonna go 83 and fourth. I'm just slightly liking the Giants more, but honestly, it feels like does it feel to anybody else like the Giants and the Diamondbacks are basically interchangeable when we're making these predictions, and it's going to be more likely to be like a tiebreak. It's going to be a tiebreaker pick for who's better.
Yeah.
Randy Johnson is officially offended by the current iteration of the Arizona Diamondbacks. All right. So speaking of the Giants, last year they did get to 500 at 81 and 81. They were third in the West. Jason, you were closest last year at 84. We were all in the ballpark this time. 84 to 86 was the range of the guesses. Again, other than their precipitous loss dump from 21 to 22, they went from 110 wins down. They've been more or less stable. They just went up +1. So looking ahead, they grabbed Logan Martin from Kansas City for Mason Black, a depth for depth swap, basically. They did grab Luis Arias. I like that deal. Arias' defense is honestly kind of atrocious at this point, but he's the best. He's the best contact hitter in the league right now. He's the closest thing you're going to see to like a modern day Pete Rose. He'll slap it anywhere. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he's that kind of hitter that will take a ball and slap it. He doesn't draw walks because he's very aggressive early in the count. They also have Harrison Bader, Sam Henches. I keep going back and forth with the Giants. I really do think they're largely interchangeable. So I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to go 80. I'm going to say they're going to tie the Diamondbacks, but win the tiebreaker. I'm going to say 83 and third. I'm not really. They're slightly better. The Padres and the Dodgers are just worlds ahead of them. So, Jason?
First of all, you might want to double check your math. I think, didn't you give the Diamondbacks 84 wins?
No, I said 83. I said 83.
Okay. So the Giants, I think, are pretty much the same as the D-backs. Arias last year hit 292, 8 home runs. So not a lot of power, contact hitter. But I think he has lost a little bit. He would regularly have been a 300 hitter. So I am I'm sad that the Phils lost out on Harrison Bader, but I think Bader in Philly last year, the second half of the season, overperformed.
Yeah, I would.
So
absolutely
he's
agree with that.
typically like a career like 240 to 250 hitter. I think they're gonna be right around the D-backs. What did I say for the D-backs? 82.
You said 82 and fourth.
I'll take 84 and third.
Okay. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna say 85 and third. Same kind of vein as Jason there.
All right, 85 and third. I don't know that we've ever had a division prediction where I felt two teams are so plug and place. That's kind of wild, actually.
Yeah, I think the other thing with the Giants too, like with the Rise in particular, is it would be pretty wild for him to win 4 out of 5 batting titles with 4 different teams. That would just be amazing to see.
That'd be
So,
pretty cool.
like
You know what?
the three he won in a row were with 3 different teams, and then Turner beat him out for it last year. So I would love to see him win it again and win it with the 4th different team. That would just be a wild stat and a wild time for us to be able to watch it. So
That'd be pretty cool to see. All right, let's move it along to the Padres. They went 90 and 72 last year, second in the West. They were wild card 2 and eliminated in the wild card by the Cubbies. Congratulations again, Joe. Did very much help to have that in the friendly confines. Looking at the predictions last year, Jason, you were the closest at 88, although you did have them missing the playoffs. The Diamondbacks really screwed you up last year in your predictions, man. I am so sorry. From 24 to 25, they did drop 3 wins, but still showing improvement overall. They grabbed Herman Marquez for a depth move for the starting pen. Griffin Canning, they're hoping he can duplicate what he did with the Mets last year, although he is coming off injury. So I don't think he's going to be ready for opening day. I think he's probably a month or 2 down the road. And they also just grabbed, just in the last couple of days, grabbed Nick Castellanos once the Phillies released him. So just to clarify this for people who don't understand how the releases work, Padres will pay veteran minimum because the contract was not up with the Phillies, and the Phillies will be on the hook for everything else minus the veterans minimum that the Padres owe. So just in case anybody was unaware, that's how that worked. But a good time for Nick to get out of town. It sounded like things had run the course. Michael King, they re-signed 3 years, $75 million with opt-outs after 26 and 27. The big loss, though, was Dylan Cease jumping to Toronto for big money. This is a team that is very heavily constrained by their payroll. They are heavily in the luxury tax, so they didn't have the money unless Cease was willing to sign a team friendly, and there was no way in hell after last season that was going to happen. I think this is going to be the Padres, honestly, for the next couple of years. You're going to see a lot of short-term deals kind of going for the value bin arms to fill out the rotational depth. But this is still a solid team. They're not going to chase the Dodgers down, but they're going to be the number 2 team in the division. I think 88 this year. I don't know that they're going to quite hit 90. I'm going to go 88. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I like the re-signing of Michael King. Losing Dylan Cease does hurt a little bit. I cannot imagine what kind of cluster the personality clash is going to be between Castellanos and Tatis and Manny Machado.
I'm kind of looking forward to that, actually.
Because, and things have started coming to light over the last few days that Nick Castellanos is not a team player, to the point that the players in the clubhouse are starting to distance themselves from him near the end of last year. They were more on the side of Thompson and did not really agree with Castellanos and what he was doing, to the point that it came out today that in their playoff series against the Dodgers, Nick, in between batting practice, he basically threw batting practice to his son Liam, which normally I'm like, you know what, that's fine, like that's great, but it was in the middle of the rest of the team taking batting practice. JT Realmuto had to wait for Nick Castellanos to finish throwing to his son Liam.
Yeah,
if you want to do that, that's fine, but it needs to be after the rest of the team has gone. So I thank you for what you did over the last few years, Nick. There were some really great moments, but with everything that's coming out right now, I am completely fine with this. I am completely fine with not watching him chase at sliders down and away to strike out. And I just think it's going to be an absolute cluster, but I can't deny the fact that the Padres should be solid again. So I am going to – they're going to get second because, of course, the Dodgers are dodgering. I think I'll give them a slight increase. I think adding Castellanos does help a little bit. I'm going to say 92 wins and second place.
Okay. What do you think, Joe?
You know what? The heck with it. 94 and they win this division, and it's partially on principle.
Joe going with the bold moves tonight.
I love it.
Most of this prediction is on principle. I didn't pick the Dodgers to win last year, mostly on principle. I just can't. I can't get on board with this nonsense. If I hated it when the Yankees did this on a minor scale, I can't enjoy it when the Dodgers are doing it on this ridiculous nonsense. So, yeah. San Diego 94 and they win the division. I hope.
Yes. Hope and a prayer.
And if you don't do that, I think Ron Burgundy can tell you what I feel. So,
absolutely, gotta love the Ron Burgundy reference at any point. All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off. The division-winning champion Dodgers. Last year, the Dodgers went 93 and 69. Good, unfortunately, for first in the West and back-to-back World Series. Yeah. Joe, you were the closest at 94. You missed it by one, so good job there. Me and Jason were overwhelmed by the star power and did not count for So they did go down 5 wins. Actually, they've been steadily going down since we started. +5 and then -11, -2, -5. Any other team going down like that would be screwed except for the freaking God, I hate the Dodgers. All right, major trades. They grabbed Gleyber Torres from the Yankees for Riviera Ryan plus prospects. They decided to once again basically officially confirm that we're going to hit a lockout after the CBA expires by signing Kyle Tucker to a ridiculous 9-year, $315 million deal, $30 million deferred opt-outs after 27 and 28. I just can't. Teoscar Hernandez was re-signed because they never thought they had a chance to get Tucker until they did. So their outfield depth is basically otherworldly, which is just stupid. They've got also grabbed Robert Stevenson, Matt Moore, free agent losses. That doesn't really matter. Really. The biggest loss, they lost left-handed first ballot Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw. Loved the moment they left him with in his last regular season start when they came out and dug the rubber up for him to take home. I love the video afterwards of his kids trying to carry the pitching rubber, not realizing how heavy the stupid thing actually is. I like how I put my summary here. They continue to do their best to break baseball and outdo the spending of George Steinbrenner's Yankees while pushing baseball to a likely lockout. Because I love to say it's not going to happen. But as we talked about in the last episode, the Tucker signing pretty much guaranteed that it will happen and that it could be possibly a multi-year lockout. And I really hate to say that, but it's what's probably going to happen. I don't think they're going. I'm not going to predict that they get back to 100. I'm going to say 96 because they know they've got the depth. They don't need to push for that. They don't need to push for the number one overall spot. They've got so much postseason experience in that roster. It's stupid. They can win it if they can come in and do well in Philadelphia, which is one of the best postseason atmospheres in baseball. Yeah. So, Jason, I am glad for your dad that he got to have another World Series. And now your dad needs to calm the Dodgers crap down, get some of that freaking luck over to the Minnesota Vikings, who still are waiting for their first Super Bowl win. So tell your dad the Dodgers are done with World Series until the Vikings get a damn scoop. Swear to God, next year, I will not bitch about it if they win again.
Yeah, I think he's more of a baseball person, so I think he will gladly trade off for continued Dodgers success. He's been a lifelong fan of the Dodgers from back in their Brooklyn days.
Damn it.
But just like the old days with them dodging trolleys, I'm going to dodge talking about them because I'm so annoyed by them. So yeah, I'm just going to give you my prediction because I'm so bothered by what they're doing to baseball. 96 and win the division.
Huh. Sounds oddly familiar. Almost like I
Is that what you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. 96. You could stay at 96. It's fine.
I'll go a little bit different. I like having something different just to see what happens.
All right.
Let's see. Do I go up or down? You know what? I think they're going to start aging a little bit. You know, Mookie's another year older. So I'll drop them down to 95.
95. Okay. Joe?
Well, let's see. I'm going to go 90 and second. The biggest annoying thing to me, and I hope he does the same thing to the Dodgers that he did to the Cubs, is I hope that Tucker plays hurt because he played like dog shit for 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm hoping that happens again in LA with another injury of some kind that he tries to play through. My sense is that Roberts won't let him do that like Council did. But let's just say 90 and they take second, and hopefully something goes wrong that needs to go wrong. I mean, look, I can't do it. I can't take them to win the division, even though they're probably going to win the division. I just can't do it. And I'm torn on this too because part of me hates what they're doing, but the other part of me hates the teams who don't spend money at all more.
Yeah.
Like this deferral option is available for every team who wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to do it, that's on you. Like I'm torn. Do I hate what they're doing? Yes. Did I hate what the Yankees did back then? Yes. Did it make the entire league better because teams had a team to chase? Absolutely. So I'm just really torn on how negative is it? Like, do I hate it? Absolutely, I hate it. Do I think that the other teams who don't spend money need to do more of it? Yeah, I do. It's one of those things where it just feels like it's putting us in a position where we feel like the inevitable is coming, and that's not good for us or for the sport, really. The sport is just finally getting back to having positive momentum with quicker games, with a better fan experience. Like the worst thing they can do is lock out, and it just feels like the Dodgers have pushed the envelope far enough that people are starting to freak out, and hopefully a lockout doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if it doesn't, though. As I said last time, though, a spending floor is needed more than a spending cap, because the number of owners that are just taking the shared revenue and not using it to improve their team like they are supposed to, either in stadium renovations or roster improvements, it's ridiculous. I'm looking at Pittsburgh, especially here, because they're the closest team to us outside of, in Philadelphia doesn't pull a revenue check; they pay into the revenue check. So yeah, it's something's going to break, and the players have been for so long absolutely opposed to any type of cap. Yeah, something's going to happen, and it's going to be if if the owner's first offer doesn't have a salary cap on it, I will be shocked.
I,
Um,
my thought on that is that I hope instead of trying to do a salary cap, which feels like an impossible ask,
mm,
if they're able to agree to some sort of deferral cap where you can only defer so much, um, to me that would be the more middle of the road position.
Yeah.
Because you're not saying, hey, you can't spend a shit ton of money if you want to spend a shit ton of money, but you're also not saying you have to spend a minimum. Like, hey, this is the most you can defer in a given year.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and that deferral money has to count against the current season.
Yes, yeah,
Right, right.
yeah. You cannot. Yeah, you can't let the deferral absolutely shatter the AAV down. And I know it doesn't go down the whole way, but it needs to be. But the AAV shouldn't change at all, even if money is deferred, because
Yeah,
that's
it
absolutely.
needs to there needs to be some sort of compromise on what effect that deferral money has on the luxury tax thresholds.
Because like the deferred money, the Dodgers are, that 58 million that Otani gets deferred is already, it's already in an escrow account. They have to immediately put that deferred money away. Like it's not like they're deferring $58 million and then giving that $58 million to Kyle Tucker. The rules are clear that if you're deferring money, that money goes into an escrow account so that it is guaranteed to be there for the player when it's due to be paid out to the player. Like that rule has not changed since the Bobby Bonilla days and the pre-Bobby Bonilla days. So it was just the whole idea was just to open up immediate cash flow so you could sign play. And again, let's remember with Bobby Bonilla, we all make fun of the Mets and rightfully so, but business wise, it was a smart move because the Wilpons were tied up in that Ponzi scheme. They thought they had more money coming in shortly thereafter and didn't realize they were about to get absolutely screwed on it. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with teams doing it to help improve them, but my problem is when you're doing it so obviously to bypass the tax and then just keep doing it the same thing over and over. And it's like, yeah, I did it again. He's touching me. I'm not touching him. It's one of those stupid kids. It's like a kid squabble at this point.
I hate to be the one to issue this correction because this correction seems is just gross for me to make, but it's not 58, it's 68 million that they're deferring.
That doesn't make it any better.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like you're saying 58, it's
No,
70 million and it's 68 million is what's being deferred. Just
it's so disgusting. It's so
yeah,
disgusting.
it truly is. It really is disgusting for a lot of different reasons, not only for the sport, but just to think of the vast magnitude of money that is out there with this is just crazy to me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
when you're owned by a hedge fund money that basically prints its own money.
the it's funny like to look at how this is going. It just feels like I don't know. There there's ridiculous like I, the fact that they're deferring this kind of money when there are certain things that we could certainly use that money for in the world, like it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Um, it's just baffling to me. I mean, granted, gone are the days where, like, believe it or not, there is, you know, 47, back in 1947, DiMaggio held out for 47 grand, and that just feels like small potatoes compared to this nonsense.
You're not wrong. What's 47,000? Let me see here. So $47,000 in today is about 683,127. Is that even league minimum? I'm not
There are
even
better
sure.
men than me who know that answer, but no, I don't know.
Isn't that kind of sickening? Just nuts. Ugh. All right, well, Jason, since you missed it when I said Dodgers the first time.
I still couldn't hear that.
Oh, well, everybody else did. That's okay. All right. Do we want to gripe about the Dodgers anymore? Or is the dead horse dead?
No, I think it's pretty much been hit.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be griping about this all year as things head towards lockout. So anyway, but there's our West Division predictions. We'll have the Central coming up in a week or two. We'll have to check the schedule, see what works best for everybody. Audio. No, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I was gonna say. Oh, I lost it because you transitioned. What did you say at the end there?
We'll be doing the Central divisions in a week or two, and we'll just
never mind. It was about the lockdown. I was gonna say, we're pretty much, we just need to make sure we're going to enjoy baseball for being baseball this season, because it's probably going to be the last season we have for a year.
Yeah, we'll be a banana ball and minor league podcast in 27. Let's be realistic here. And you know what? I am damn well okay with that. And you know what? Maybe we can somehow bribe Jesse Cole to hop on for an episode if we do banana ball. That would be absolutely amazing. Actually, let's work on that. I'd love to spend an hour with Jesse Cole. That would be. I'd love to pick his brains. He's amazing. All right, guys. Audio recordings are available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, anywhere you can find us. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. Merchandise is at redbubble.com/people/DDAB-podcast. Follow us on Facebook.com/DollarDogsAndBeer. We're presented by Dark Arrow Podcast LLC and sponsored by the fantastic guys over at Barron Barbershop in Manheim. Guys, may your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. We'll see you next time.